Good morning. Good morning. I'm like half of a minute early. Good morning, Tranquility 30. How are ya? Good morning, Roro. Thanks for coming on, Coco Beauty. Hi, Deborah. Candy. Hi, Tony. Galaxy Girl, how are ya? Good morning to some, grand rising to others. How y'all doing? Okay, so I see Chantel is on. How did I do this the last time? Lord have mercy. Okay, wait. Good morning. How did I do this the last time? How did I add somebody the last time? I can't remember. And I went through the same thing just now with her. I can't remember how to add her. I have to send her the request, right? I did it last week and now I can't remember. Um, I know I had sent you the request, Tony, but I can't remember how I did it. Wait, hold on. Oh, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it. Lord. Ah, good, got it. I just sent them the request, so she's connecting. Hi! Hi, Chantel!
Hey,
You look amazing. And look, by the way, for you guys who don't know, Chantel is in Barbados. We are actually in Barbados. I forgot to let people know that you'll be coming in live from the island. So for those who are, you know, in Canada, in the US, and other parts of the world, we are coming live from Barbados. It's just
yeah.
as hot where I am, and is there no minus the beach? We could do with some beach right here, but hey, what are we gonna do? Chantel, thank you for allowing me to do this interview with Chet Candy now coming with the Combo thing. But so let me,
Afternoon.
yeah. So Chantel is from Combo, and
Yes, I
yeah,
am.
Combo is this for folks who don't understand is a high school in Barbados, and is the same high school that Rihanna went to. So that's why it's a big deal. Now, folks are asking me about the towel on my shoulder. This is a whole part of a me as a spiritualist, because sometimes we do things and we may have to wipe our face or wipe our hands, or and there are other uses for that. So that's why this towel is here. Plus, I was told spiritually I need to always have a towel on my shoulder when I'm engaging in certain things, like doing this live. Anyhow, I'll talk about that another time. So we have Chantel here, who is the owner of Organic Earth Kitchen and Juicery in Barbados. She's a
Yes.
certified iridologist, a herbalist, and also a raw food chef. And
Yeah.
Chantel is going to be talking to us this morning about iridology and how that pertains to your health and what information you can get about your health by having her look into your eyes. Now, I know along the way that some of you may have a ton of questions when she starts to talk, which is fine. And you can just put them in the comments and I will read them to her so she could just focus on giving us the information. All right. So, Chantel, what is iridology? And why should I have you look into my eyes to tell me about my health?
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I do want to make one little correction
Sure.
there, and that is that the clinic is called the Light Body Holistic
Oh,
Clinic,
okay.
and Organic Earth Kitchen is within the clinic.
Got you. Got you. Okay.
All right. So, iridology. Iridology, I've been doing it for about 23 years now.
Okay.
And I found it a very fascinating and accurate way to take a look at the iris or the colored portion of your eye and see from the markings, the colorations, the fibers that make up the iris, what is going on in your body system. So it tells you the underactivity or overactivity of the organ systems. So I can see things from if your cholesterol is too high, if you have sinus congestion, if your prostate is enlarged, if your stomach is too acid, if you're not digesting your foods.
Wow.
There's a whole host of things. Poor circulation to your head, hands, and feet. Lots of stuff that you can see, and it gives you a good overview of the whole body system. And I think that is a really great way for people to find out instead of just focusing on one thing.
Okay.
You need to know the whole effect of your body system so that you can deal with all of it at once.
Right. So why did you decide to get into why did you decide to be certified in this? Why this? Why iridology? Why that?
Yeah. I guess it started. I went to school for architecture.
Wow.
A long time ago. And my mom was a nurse, and she had some friends. She had a very good friend that their son was sick, and they were into iridology. And they sent me, because I was doing my studies in Toronto, they sent me to an iridologist to get some information because they wanted to bring their son up for her to see them.
Okay.
And when I got there, it was the middle of winter, and when I got there, she was teaching a class. So she told me I had to wait till the end of the class to talk to her. And just sitting down in that class that day changed my life because I could not believe what I was watching. I didn't know such a thing even existed, but I was hooked.
Right.
And so besides finding out the information I needed to send back to Barbados, I signed up for the class. And I was very scared because I was doing architecture. My parents were helping me, supporting me, and I all of a sudden was interested in something else. So I had to explain that to them. They didn't really, my mom didn't freak out. I think that as a nurse, she kind of understood that I had something. But she did tell me that once I start down this path, I can't just be telling people what's important. I have to also be able to help them.
Right.
So when I finished the iridology course, I switched from architecture to iridology. I went on to do herbal.
You went after you cut out there a little bit. After iridology, you did what?
I went to do herbal medicine.
Oh, okay. So tell us about your experience about having this practice on island. How were you received? Because across the board everything is modern medicine, although our grandmothers would practice alternative medicine, if it comes from somebody else, they're like, what are you doing? So what was the feedback like when you started this your practice in Barbados?
Well, obviously I was quite young and I was very excited to get started. So once I finished my internship and everything, I came home. And to tell the honest truth, I am still well received up to this day.
Wonderful.
So I find that the women of Barbados have been very supportive. They still go to their doctor, but they still do their herbal medicine.
Yes.
And they still pass it on to the generations in their households. The older women especially were into their bush teas. They wanted to have an alternative to see what was going on in their body system. And they have never stopped supporting me.
Wonderful.
It has continued from day one.
Wonderful.
And it started in my own little neighborhood.
Yes.
So when I first started, I actually was at home with my parents. So the first set of people to come to see me and get their eyes done was every single person that lived around us. So the support started there, and then it blossomed out from there.
Yeah.
So I'm very appreciative of that.
Yeah. I like the fact that you said that you had a lot of support from women. And I think that is very, very important because even in my work with readings, I always bring up the fact of self care, you know, and having to make sure that you're okay in all aspects, physically, spiritually, mentally, you know, in order to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, you know. So and I find that women, especially black women, you know, we tend to neglect our health and take care of everybody else. You know, we focus on everyone else around us, whether it's our spouse or children or parents, and we neglect us, you know. So I'm very
Yes.
glad to hear that, you know, you had a wide support of women coming to see you. So once you look into my eyes and you're able to say, well, Simone, you have problems with X, Y, and Z, you know, where do we go from there with that? What do you offer your recommendation? Tell me what's the process after that. And if there's a follow-up
Okay.
to, you know, what you
Yes.
do. Yeah.
Okay, so usually once I do the iridology, like my mother said, I definitely tell people what to do after that.
Okay.
So we put together a booklet, we go through a consultation, giving people things to work on. Because when you do a eye reading, there are quite a number of things that are going on, and that's hard to focus on. So you focus on what, first of all, the person came in for, because most people have an idea of something that they're worried about and they want to fix. And then any things that are related to that. So, for example, the person might come in and say that their stomach is really bothering them. They're getting into digestion or acid
Okay.
reflux. But acid reflux now comes with joint pains, elevated cholesterol, poor circulation. So now you have a few things that they can work on, not just their digestion.
Okay.
So there's certain foods you would take out of their diet. There's certain herbs you would put in to strengthen the stomach system, to help them with their joints, inducing moss. So you start to introduce foods and herbs in different ways to help them. But I like to start off before that with a cleanse. So most people, I like them to reset their system. So it isn't just jumping into the change of the foods and so on and introducing new foods, but clean out your system first. So we usually do a 3 to 5 day cleanse, and there are different cleanses. Obviously, the most popular one is an alkalizing cleanse. When I say a cleanse, I'm talking about juice feasting. So you're doing fresh juices and herbal teas for a set amount of days.
Okay. 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 All right. So in this time of COVID, right? How are you working with your clients um, to really find out, you know, to do this test? Because I'm sure now with the lockdown, you can't see anybody. And because you're so close to a person, you know, that could be a touch and go. So how do you, are you guys working around that? Is there mass still involved? How are you functioning with that in these
Okay, so
times?
during the actual lockdown here in Barbados, I actually was not working.
Okay.
So the clinic was not allowed to open. As soon as I was able to, I opened back and masked up. And I have two different types of cameras. So the camera I use now, which is a stationary camera, I can put if
Your
there's
volume dropped again a little bit. It could,
okay,
yeah. Okay, it's better now.
okay. So they're masked up, but they're in a camera where is their face is set in a particular area, and then I take the photograph. So I do all the normal things that you would do to sanitize and so on, and I have been seeing people again. Um, but COVID is something where before it started, in terms of getting here to Barbados, people did a lot of preventative stuff in terms of doing flu shots and getting different herbal mixtures. I have immunotonics and so on to help. Now that the COVID we're out from lockdown, people are looking more to clean and reset their system and
Perfect.
start on a different path.
Perfect.
So I'm going along with what the community kind of is gearing to. So I do still have the flu shots and the immunotonic, but most people seem to have come out of lockdown with the mindset of wanting to clean their system. So that has been where people's focus has been.
So we have a question here from J. Lori 34, and she's asking, how can someone in the States utilize this service?
Okay, this is something that we have discussed a little bit so that I can get this more mobile, because I've been looking at the fact that most people have a smartphone now and they can take the photograph of their eyes and they can send them to me and we can do the consultation like this on WhatsApp, or it can be both this and written depending on how the person wants to do it. So it's a matter of contacting me and we can go forward.
Okay. What are some of the most chronic health issues that you see reoccurring in with your clients? What are most of them? Is it like diabetes, high blood pressure? What's the one thing you keep seeing coming up in your clinic all the time?
To tell the honest truth, it kind of goes through seasons where people have certain things that they all come in clusters for.
Okay.
Right now, it is the same as the stomach, and that has a myriad of other things that go with it. But cancer is another big one. Men's prostate is when I see men, it's usually for that particular reason. Sinus, not breathing well, that is a big one for a lot of people. Bronchial congestion, sinus congestion, shortness of breath, and wanting things to reduce the mucus load in their system. For women, they want to do womb cleanses where they have a lot of cysts or their hormones are out of balance. And there's so many wonderful herbs here on the island that you can use.
You're cutting out again. I don't know, the Wi-Fi. Come on, start again. Yeah.
I was saying that wild yam, right? The wild yam and pomegranate are, I make tinctures, I make bush teas, and we focus in on certain areas. So whether it's womb problems, prostate problems, acidity, cancer, those are the things I kind of focus on the most.
Okay. Now, I like the fact that that folks outside of Barbados have the opportunity to still get a consultation with you, using modern technology. And what I found here is during the quarantine, because the US went through a lot. We went through quarantine, we went through curfew, we went through demonstrations. It was a barrage of all kinds of things. My question to you is, if in terms of the herbs, then you would advise on how to prepare the herbs, which is the best herbs to use and how to use them?
Yes.
Okay.
So in a lot of cases here, I have things pre-made. Okay, but they're for specific things. And I prepare personalized tea. So when you come in, you have a unique set of things that are going on with you. Then you need a set of herbs that will focus on those things. So somebody might walk in and they want something just for their bowel, or they're not breathing well. But then you might have somebody that really wants something personalized. So I have the combination.
Right.
And I like doing tinctures as well.
Right.
So people have something they can walk with.
Right.
And use, drop it in their warm water or tea or juice that they can have, especially when their hormones are bothering them or they're getting anxious. You want to have something on hand.
Right. So, but basically for us living in the, and I have another question I'm going to ask from Deborah. So, but basically here, it would most likely, if the person is in North America, you will have to guide them as to what herbs to buy and how to prepare them, right? Because
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would get the local things, but I would tell them the substitutes that they
That I
can
can
use.
get.
So Ophelia instead of gully root and that kind of thing.
Okay, all right. So Deborah Collins is asking anything for arthritis.
Well, arthritis is a combination of things. So you want to work on foods that would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
You want to avoid certain foods. So the nightshade foods are things to stay away from. So the tomatoes and the English potatoes and so on. And a food that's good for your bones, um, cartilage and building bones would be like celery and sea moss.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make yourself a nice sea moss gel,
Mm-hmm.
not cooked. I'm going to do a little video so people can see how to make sea moss gel without having to cook it, because a lot of the people used to boil it on the stove. You need
Mm-hmm.
to keep all the nutrients intact.
Okay.
It's also extremely helpful for your thyroid. But sea moss and celery are a good thing to use if you're making yourself a good green shake in the
Mm-hmm.
mornings. That would be good for arthritis.
Right. Okay, so another thing that you are known for, and I know you kind of mentioned a bit, you weren't focused on it too much, but in the days of COVID, using one of the cliches now, everybody's looking into having a raw food diet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it and I'm still thinking because I still like to eat something that has a parent, right?
Right.
Something that has a parent. So, tell me what are the benefits to, you know, following a raw food diet? What can I expect? How will my body change for that? And why should I even consider it?
Okay. So you don't have to think of it in terms of extremes of being 100% raw food.
Okay.
Okay. But I think that when I think of raw food, I think of it as food medicine. So you're getting the maximum amounts of nutrients from the food. So when somebody comes to you and they're not well, the best thing to do is to strengthen your foundation, which is food. So starting off doing juices and um, cleansing yourself. When you finish doing that, you feel nice and light and clean. You want to then start putting in some clean food.
Okay.
So what that means is that you put in more raw foods in your diet. You don't have to cut out everything. But for most people, that's kind of harsh. But making sure that your salads, you can make wraps. Pasta can be made from zucchini. So there are little things that you can do to make sure that your roughage and your nutrient levels coming from your foods is higher.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So this is where raw food.
Okay.
And it's just getting people to really look at their food a little differently,
I,
making sure that it's more alive than you think.
Yes, yes. I was telling them about my neighbor who owns a mechanic shop um, next door. And this morning, I had to run to the supermarket. And this morning, when I was coming back, he was outside watering his little makeshift garden. So on the streets of New York, well, most streets, the sidewalk, you will have like a tree growing. So where he has the tree, he has planted some tomatoes, and then on the side, he planted something else. So this morning, he's out watering, his plants. And as mentioned last week in my live with Tony, we're finding like people are just finding these little boxes to just grow their own food, whether it's a basil or parsley or cilantro. They're really trying their best to just have something available that they can use. Another question that came up, I can't remember who it is that posted the question, but she asked about endometriosis. What herbs would you recommend for that?
Endometriosis is a combination of things, but we tend to work first on reducing the sugar load in your system,
Ah,
balancing your hormones, and then we will get into dealing with the tissues that are bleeding in.
okay,
So it's a matter of changing up what they're doing in terms of their foods first
okay, okay.
before you get into these foods, because you need to know a little more background, how their periods are coming,
Mm-hmm.
um, how long they're lasting, and different things going on. But there are things that keep in how much they bleed.
Okay. So
I mean, you could
go ahead.
pick herb just you can use a specific herb just to stop the bleeding, but that doesn't fix the root of the problem.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So we're now approaching flu season, cold and flu season here in North America. And folks are, a bit jittery because, the conversation is that's when the second wave of COVID-19 is really going to come upon us. What are some of the practices that we could engage to prepare us for that?
All right. The good thing about North America is that y'all have a lot of choices, substitutes, things that you can use instead of. So a plant-based dairy product, if you have to have some kind of dairy milk or a yogurt, get away from the regular milk products would be a good place to start. That helps to reduce your mucus load because that makes it easier for the bacteria to stay and fester in your system. And then there are herbs that you can use to keep this is where the daily bush teas come in. Cerasee is a really good place to start because that's one of those base herbs that is bitter. It is very good at helping your immune system, fighting off colds. Leaf of Life is another one, especially if you got a little wet cough. There's a combination, lemon, lime water would be good in the mornings as well. So there are different things that you can do depending on where your mucus level is. But starting with reducing that is very helpful to fighting back the cold and flu. So obviously your vitamin C can come also from different sources, but the best source would be to eat your fruits.
Right, right. We have a question here from Nancy618. She's asking any suggestions for children with autism that also has ADHD.
Okay, autism is a whole thing into itself in terms of vaccinations and what loads are in the child's system. So, and what age the child is, because if they're over 7, I would also tend to do a cleanse with them to reduce the medication that has gone in and any toxins in their system. Okay. In terms of ADHD, that has to do with not having the same attention span and proclivity to settle down as what we would call a normal child. But you have to work with that child's tendencies as well.
Okay.
Okay, so it's finding the right balance and environment for that child to work in.
Okay.
And it's not easy, but it is possible.
Right. How if juicing? I want to talk about that a bit. Because sometimes I prefer to just I'm not into green juices. I think it is awful, right? And something about drinking green just I don't know, that just messes with my head. So I juice fruit and I would just eat my vegetables raw, right? But
Right.
is there a difference between eating your fruit as is, as whole, versus juicing them? Does it change anything with it, or is one better than the next? I want to talk about juicing a little bit.
That's a good question. There's no better than, they're just different. So when you eat them, you're getting the whole food in terms of the fiber and the juice.
Okay.
And it will digest slower into your system. When you drink just a plain juice, it goes straight into your bloodstream a lot faster. There's no slowing down because there's no fiber. This is why there's a difference also between juicing and blending smoothie because the fiber is still in it.
Oh, okay.
But people have digestive issues. A smoothie with all the fiber and everything would absorb better than if you leave it up to people to chew, because a lot of people chew 5 chews and 10 chews and they down the hat,
Uh-huh.
right? And most of the time it's not broken up enough to be digested properly.
Ah, right, right. So,
So with a smoothie, they get more nutrients from that.
right. We have a question here from Ziggles11. She's asking, I just had to take a lot of antibiotics. Is there anything besides the probiotic to help get gut flora back in balance? That's from Ziggles11.
Yes, and my answer to that, and my favorite thing to use is baobab. Not
Is
sure if
what?
y'all can get
What's that?
baobab. Baobab, there's a pod from the baobab tree.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good powder that you can use as a prebiotic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my favorite thing to use.
Mm-hmm.
So we put it in our cereals, we put it in our shake powders. Um, you can get it in tincture form. You might find it in powder packages there that you can use. I'm not a big fan of a lot of these probiotics that they're putting out there. I want something that is naturally a prebiotic because then your body creates the gut flora from that.
Warm Gem is asking, what about milk thistle?
Milk thistle is pretty cool. I use milk thistle, the seeds. I think I like the seeds. You can go to a herbal store and buy the milk thistle seeds and make yourself either. I tend to use it with other things. So say I'm making myself a almond milk, I would put in a tablespoon of the milk thistle seeds with that, let them all soak, strain it, and then blend it with some coconut water and get yourself a nice nut seed milk, but with a lot of medicine in it. So you can do it that way. Try it that way as opposed to just the tea,
Right.
which you can also use milk thistle to make tea for your liver. But I think I like the seeds better.
Okay. Somebody's asking if you ship products to the US. What I would suggest, J-Lori34, is you reach out to Chantel. Her IG page is Organic Earth Barbados. I got that right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it has a website.
Yeah, Organic Earth Barbados, and the website is listed there as well. So you can reach out to her or send her a message about shipping out stuff. Chef Bella Beige, she's asking, is there any way to reverse butt allergies? I don't know. You got it. Oh, sorry. All right. She corrected it. Is there any way to reverse nut allergies?
Yes, but it's not an immediate reversal. I find that once people eat cleaner, they tend to reduce their mucus loads because a lot of times the nuts have to do with how much mucus is in your system, and it is at a saturation point. So once you can clear a lot of that, the allergies tend to reverse themselves. So the answer to that is yes. It's just a little time consuming.
Right. With anything having to do with, really seeking a different healthy way of changing your lifestyle, it takes time. It's not going to be an immediate thing, and then it's going to take time and it's going to be long term. As long as you're disciplined, that's the key thing that you have to be, is to be disciplined. And that is something that I am working on as well, in terms of making, because I love cake. And I'm surrounded by bakeries. There's like 4 or 5 bakeries around me. One of them, actually, she just 2 blocks from my house, she does celebrity cakes. And I'm always in there getting a cupcake or something, just hoping that I glimpse the celebrity, which never happens because obviously they send their assistants. But I am a flower person. So I want to talk about beauty, right? Because I know I mentioned to you a few months ago that I was doing my own morning regimen with turmeric, avocado oil, honey, and something else I put in my little concoction. And I'm working on, evening out my skin. And also, as women get older, these dark shadows under our eyes. Outside of the fact that I need to stop eating all those cakes, um, what would you recommend, like for a facial mask, or what I should be, some of the herbs I should be drinking, and yes, increase my water intake? What would you recommend?
Yeah. So a combination of things. I think it depends on what it is that's going on your skin topically, because some people it's marks, some people it's acne, some people blackheads, so on. So I like different types of masks. Clay masks tend to be clay and sea moss tend to be the one that I prefer the most, but that is personal preference. Um, I like to bathe with aloe vera. I find that helps the skin a lot. That's externally, but internally, then you need to do every now and then. Um, well, the water intake is helpful for day to
Yeah.
day, but doing an actual cleanse is very helpful to your skin. Saunas are helpful. I like doing saunas at least 4 times a week, depending on if you could get to the sauna that often. But that opening and closing of your pores is very important. So even if you can't get to the sauna, you can do a hot shower and then end the shower with the water. You open the pores, clear them out, and then close them back. Because if you come out of a hot shower without closing the pores, whenever you put cream and stuff on your skin, you're clogging the pores. So you really
Ah,
want to,
I get you.
you really want to be hot and cold.
Right.
So their combination of skin brushing too is helpful. With a loofah,
Yes. Yes. I've also heard
right?
about brushing um, your body towards your heart, like taking the brush and
Yes.
brushing, and that, yeah, and that helps with your lymph nodes. I was told that years ago by a herbalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
yes,
someone here
from the feet
from
up,
the feet.
hands in,
Uh-huh.
feet up, hands in, face down, and it helps the lymph system, but it gets off all those dead skin cells as well.
Right, right. Warm Gem says that melasma has taken over her cheeks. Melasma?
Right.
Right.
That is where you get that I don't know what you would call it, like kind of looks like freckling, but it's more.
Okay.
Um, that's a little different because that has to do with pigmentation,
Okay. Okay.
and so that would be a little
A little bit more
that
intense.
would be a little more, yeah, a little more intense in terms of and you might need to talk to somebody that is specialized in just skin,
Okay.
a herbalist that is just skin,
Okay. Ah,
um,
okay.
that can deal with that. But sometimes some of that have to do with your B levels as well. PABA, PABA is one of those things that it can be very helpful, which is one of the B.
Right, right. One of the major issues, and let me just check the time, we are at 10:36. Okay. One of the major issues we have here in North America when we get into the cold system is the lack of vitamin D. I have had that problem as well, where I would just have this pain in my back and just all these different ailments. And then when I go to the doctor is like alarmed at how low my vitamin D is. And we get most of our vitamin D from the sun. But come in the winter time now, I mean, the sun, you still getting the rays from the sun, but it is not enough for you. And then I end up having to take like 10,000 a week or 50,000 a week or something like that to kind of replenish my body. And I obviously feel the difference. So when discussing that with my doctor, she had mentioned that this lack of vitamin D is a major issue for women of color in North America. So during that period of time, we don't have the sun, to help us out. What would you recommend for that?
Well, you have to do the D3. D3, there's a supplement called D3 now that it comes in a liquid form that you can use that to fortify any drink that you're taking in. But also um, getting as much sun as you can when it is hot,
Right.
so that you run your time of having to take the D3 shorter.
Ah, makes
So
sense.
even summertime, for sure, you're out picnicking, out on doing things.
Mm-hmm.
But even in the fall,
Mm-hmm.
it might be cold, but it's still the sun is out.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you still get out. And with people of color, the darker you are, the longer you have to stay in to stay out and get exposed to the sun
Right.
to get the melanin to really be stimulated.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to find some activity to do outside, although it's nippy, and get your sun rays in. So if you can do it, then it's less time to take the D3 during the winter. You really gotta just be into it for the dead of winter, like November through
Remember.
December through February.
Right. 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 Um.
I want spring start to get back out there.
Yeah. And when spring comes, that is my happy time because I know we're
Right.
approaching summer, and I don't do the booty riders or booty riders when them shorts call anymore. But I prefer the sun. It works for me better. All right, so I wanted to just give an update because I'm seeing some new people on here that I've never seen before. And I want to thank you all for joining. My name is Simone, and my page is Readings by Simone, and it speaks to what it is. I give spiritual readings. So you can find my page at Simone on Readings _ Simone. My guest here with me is Chantel Selman. She's a herbalist. She's a raw food chef. And most of what we started talking about today is she's an iridologist. I always have problems trying to get that word out. So I just wanted to thank you guys to kind of update you for the folks who are now coming in on what we're talking about. With everything that is happening right now globally, because this stuff is not just centered in one area of the world, which we are accustomed to. When we have this kind of health issues, is mostly centered in Asia or in Africa. But for this new decade and this new year, everybody's getting hit. And what I found during the quarantine here in the US is that people really started to focus more on their eating. And we had cases, and we had discussed this, where a lot of herbal stores actually had to close because they couldn't meet the demands of people, ordering herbs and trying to get these to figure out what it is that they can use to boost their immune system and try to change their lives because nobody wants to get sick. Do you think, and I don't know if you're talking to other herbalists and what are their feelings on this? Do you think this is just going to be a temporary thing until folks get a vaccine, or you actually think that this is going to be a lifestyle change for many? What are your thoughts on that?
Even if they get a vaccine, I think that a lot of people are not going to take.
Yeah, you broke
So
up a
this
little
is
bit, a little
where
bit. Wait, maybe.
okay.
Yeah,
So
say that part again.
I think that even if they get a vaccine, people are not going to want to take a vaccine.
Right.
So it is upon people like myself to do the research and find things that people can use to keep their immune system high, but also to fight off and deal with COVID. Okay, because I think this is here for the long haul.
Yes.
They're doing this to get us to a different mindset. We have to look past just the COVID and what is going on universally. And it means that we are the people that are needed to fix the world and how it has come to this point. And how many people are doing so many wrong things. So it's not just about the pandemic. It's about a lot more than that.
Right.
So we have to look at all the layers of it. Look at what is going on with the riots and people fighting. These fights have been going on before, but why it manifests now in the middle of a pandemic and things like that. So I think what is happening is that subconsciously we are demanding something different. And I think that they're going to be a little shocked when the vaccine does come forth and the amount of people that are going to say no. taking it now a little too far.
Right.
But they're going to try to force the situation. You cannot go on a plane unless you get the vaccine. You cannot do your insurance unless you get a vaccine. And this is where the pushback is going to come. But we need to also have some herbal things in place. And there are herbalists around the world that are having major discussions about what herbs can be used to help the viral load.
Yes.
From wood to vervain. There's so many people trying so hard to figure out different things that can help, combinations of things. And some of them are North American, some of them are Caribbean and South American. But I think that the two things are going to come out at the same time. They're going to find something herbal that will work, and they will have the vaccine, and people are going to have
right to decide what they're going to do. I like the fact that I'm hearing, because I guess you have to be in those circles to hear the part where a lot of herbalists are trying to figure it out, just like how the scientists are trying to figure it out as well. And because, with the media, we will only hear the scientist part of it, but we won't hear the herbalist part. So I think it is important that as much as possible, we have folks like yourself, really come out and speak to these things. I know in the beginning of the pandemic, we were inundated with all these different herbs that we can use. I mean, I went on one herb site and they forever was out of echinacea, right? You couldn't get echinacea anywhere. So I'm glad to hear, though, that folks are really experimenting with the herbs to see, to give folks an option, right? Because even if somebody refuses to take the vaccine and, and they was like, what, I'll just live off the grid, they will have this other option to pursue to help them. You know what I'm saying? And it is good at these. And I think you're right in terms of when this vaccine does come out, folks are going to be like questioning it more so than they would have the flu vaccine or the vaccine for measles or chickenpox or whatever the case. And these scientists will be forced to address these questions.
And it is a question that has been in our mind for a long time, if these vaccines are safe. And this comes back to the question of the autism. It's always been playing with us because is autism caused by vaccinations?
Right.
The question has been answered in both directions. There's back and forth debate, but it also plays in our mind. You're doing this vaccine very fast.
Yes.
You've had problems with vaccines before. I'm not sure about this, and there's a lot of questions that are going to come up because of it. But one of the things, that we all can do that we can do right now, because one of the things that is causing the positive testing that people are getting is that the toxicity in your system is also high. If you can reduce that by cleansing on a regular basis, every 3 months, give yourself a little clean out for 3 days. That is extremely helpful instead of maybe just for a herb or a herbal combination to work. Cleansing is extremely good, and eating as clean as possible.
Right. And that brings me back to the word I mentioned earlier, discipline. Right? Because that is definitely needed, discipline. Someone asked earlier about face steaming. And I noticed there were a lot of videos going around of people steaming their face with, and they would add slices of orange and lemon and lime to the water and just, how is steam facing helpful?
Okay, so it's the same thing as we talked about with the showers. You put the cream on your face, it opens up the pores. You put the citrus on, it helps to clean out a lot of that grime and gook that is in the pores itself and clear that out. And then you wash off your face with cold water to close back the pores.
One of the other things too, I'm I want to find out about is how important is it to eat foods that are in season?
It's very important, but that's easier
Said than
to
done
do
in the
the Caribbean,
Caribbean. Yeah.
but it's because you get imports a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you're really watching it, the avocados are in season right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sourshops are in season right
Mm-hmm.
now. Mangoes are in season right now. When those things, except for avocados at very specific supermarket, when an avocado goes out of season, we don't see them. They're not in the normal marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
So you tend to just naturally eat in season when it comes to certain foods.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and a lot of times sourshops and these things, we have a tree in our backyard.
Mm-hmm.
So then you just pick it when it is in
Season,
season.
right?
So that comes naturally. Whereas you can get things from South America and then the rest of things are grown in another
Mm-hmm.
place. So the movement of food in terms of y'all getting everything all season long is different from here.
Right. I got you.
It is extremely important.
Right. For those who are now joining us for the first time, when she said um, it will be different from us, for her, there means Barbados. We're coming live from
Yeah,
Barbados. I keep forgetting to mention that because this technology just makes you feel as if the person is right next, just a phone call away or just down the street. But she's coming live with us from Barbados, and I'm here in New York. And I think this is great. I mean, Chantel, the information has been amazing. I've learned a lot. The questions have been great as well. And I wanted to go back to what we just mentioned about the food in season, because one of the ways I combat that is that I would shop at the farmer's market, right? Right. So I would buy produce and it's locally grown from the farmers upstate New York. So whatever they
right,
have in the season at the time that I go, because sometimes they stay out there in the cold till like early December. And if by
right,
chance you have a nice Saturday, because they come out in my area every Saturday, if you have a nice Saturday, they're out there selling their produce, right? So,
right,
and for those who may be on public assistance, they also accept your card at the farmers market as well. So you don't think that, oh, well, I can't afford it right now, or they wouldn't take my, no, you can actually go and swipe your card and use it at the farmers market. You don't just have to use it at McDonald's. And this is information that a lot of folks don't know, because
right.
I was talking with a friend recently, and sometimes they would take pictures of my fruit salad, and she's like, "Why your fruit always looks so healthy?" And she said, "Well, you must be paying a lot of money." I said, "Well, you can go to the farmers market. All right, you may not get everything that you like there one time, but the stuff is really healthy and good. You even go there and buy your meat, fish, organic honey. So there's a guy there also. He does grape juice, and it is the taste is amazing. And I think they started trying to sell wines, but that's a kind of a illegal thing going on there. But
Yeah.
you can always try the farmers market. I wanted to also, I don't know if this is something that you'll be able to advise on, but one of the other things folks have been talking about is indoor plants, right? A
Yeah.
lot of folks have been buying, I bought 2 snake plants because they say that
Yeah.
helps to purify the air in the room. So I purchased 2, and I had a neighbor who moved out. And, I have neighbors every time they're moving out and they don't want stuff anymore, they leave it in the lobby. So someone
Right.
left a beautiful snake plant in the lobby. So I put that in my hallway as well. How does that help to, if you can talk about that, in our health generally, to have these plants in our home?
Okay, so you're there are a few plants
Mm-hmm.
that are the output of oxygen is kind of high.
Yes. Yes.
what people are focusing on. So you want, especially if you're in indoor places closed up for long periods of time, you want plants that will off gas a lot of oxygen to help you with your oxygen level in that space. Okay, so the snake plant is one. There is aloe vera. There is there's another one that I like a lot. I can't remember the name right now, but there are about 6 or 8 different ones that there are house plants that you can put indoors that will be giving off that oxygen that you need. But this goes back to also what's going on with our mucus levels. And so a neti pot to keep your sinuses as clear as possible would be helpful. Keeping the dairy down, keeping the, there are certain things that are mucus forming food. So you want the rice, the oats, the softer nut, the dairy. If you have bad sinuses and you're congested all the time, you want to keep those things at bay so you don't help to proliferate the problem of you having difficulty breathing.
Well, for me as a spiritualist, what I use my herbs mostly for is to make baths and teas, right? And also yoni steams. So on my end, you know, I use my baths mainly to help lift vibrations, to remove, you know, negative energy. Some people use the baths for love. Some people use the baths for money. Some people use the baths for protection. And, you know, like I said in our last week, you know, these baths, we grew up hearing calling them as bush baths. But they were mainly used to, I guess, I don't know how to explain it for our grandmothers using it, but it was mostly as a cleansing. Do you guys, as a herbalist, do you also get into baths as well? Or just using the herbs inside?
It's always been in the back of my mind because every time I read a herbal book from the Caribbean, bush baths are one of the things added to the list. It's not just about the bush teas. And I actually have a very huge wild olive tree, which is part of a bush bath ritual. And another thing is that a lot of people didn't have ways of taking a bath.
Right.
So I have never really pursued it too much. But now, in modern times, a lot more people have baths and showers together.
Yes.
They have a tub, right? So they can take a bath. A lot of people don't because they're not sure even what to do or what to put in it. But when you guide them, they're very quick to wanting to try to relax, to change their energy, to work on their skin. And so you're the one that actually got me thinking about it a bit more and putting together combinations of herbs that are local that would be helpful.
Yes.
So that was one thing about the wild olive tree.
Yes.
But almond leaves are very good at softening the water. So that's one of the things ancestors also need to put in there when they putting together a bush bath tea.
Right.
And then you put in different
herbs
for different things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the same principle.
Yes.
But our time is running down. They're now telling me I have 1 minute and 17, 16, 15, 14 seconds. So I want to use this time to let folks know that Chantel's IG page is Organic Earth Barbados, correct? And please go and follow her. Send her a message about any questions you may, follow-up questions you may have. Please also follow me, readings_Simone. Next week, we're going to be talking about numerology. I'm trying to make these things so you got to come on. Yeah, we're going to have a numerologist on board next week, Sunday at 10 o'clock. So, and yeah, he's going to be talking. I'm taking his class and I'm blown away. Chantel, thank you so much for being on here. Of course, I'm going to have you on again. Next time you have to cook something for us. So we'll be in your kitchen. All right.
No
And
problem.
enjoy the rest
Yes.
of your day. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Y'all stay safe. You know, keep out of trouble. And I'm going to do the same. Thank you, Chantel. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.